The Human-Centric Storytelling is a series of reflections and conversations that provides an overview, tools, and frameworks from world-class marketing leadership in human-centric approach to storytelling. From over 2 decades of leading brands like Nokia, Nike, Adidas, and most recently as Chief Marketing Officer at Saucony. During this podcast, I will introduce you to concepts of brand marketing, communications, and successful frameworks that the most loved brands use in their day-to-day work. We'll also discuss various disciplines and the roles that these brands play in the development of culture, art, and society as a whole, from large iconic to small and scrappy marketing programs, from inspiration to humanizing your brand. I am Fabio Tambosi, your host, a multicultural and true international marketer known for building and creating emotive brand stories in today's fast-changing digital landscape and leading highly collaborative teams, all rooted in my lifelong experience as an elite soccer player. Listen in to hear how brands, people, and the world of marketing is undergoing a radical transformation and how global leaders are changing the world by using the power of human-centric stories and social media. Today, we're going to talk about embracing the era of culture creativity with agility. Now that we have learned to cope with the pandemic, uncertainties, and the social unrest in our lives, I thought I would stop to reflect on the key learnings from this experience. For me, there's no better way than to share the journey and reflections in leading the Ready for Sport brand campaign for Adidas. This experience is, by far, the greatest and the most demanding professional experience I have ever had. Challenge the status quo and pushing the boundaries and reimagining the launch playbook. Not to forget, all during the pandemic with a zero-based budget. The story you will read has only been possible because of the amazing power of the creative talent we have in the team. This project is the best example of true teamwork and operational leadership in engaging a highly complex matrix organization across all functions and markets. In August, we launched the Ready for Sport anthem film as the pinnacle expression and celebration of the professional league's return worldwide. The anthem film is an open invitation for all to live and experience the transformative power of sport to change people's life. As a sports brand, we decided to share a thought-provoking statement to challenge our consumers that sport is not the answer. While it's not the answer, it symbolizes joy, optimism, and resilience, and it can empower you to move on and find your truth, leapfrogging the world into a brighter future and changing lives. During the film story arc, the consumer then understands that while sport is not the answer, it is a platform for self-expression, and when told through the voice of our athletes, it becomes a positive force for cultural change. The film is a powerful brand statement and the best expression of who we are today. And here's why Ready for Sport has been so successful. However, taking a few steps may help you understand how we got here and share with you the most. So let's go back down memory lane with me for just a few paragraphs. The beginning, a brave new world. March 2020, COVID-19, means the world is on full pause. After successfully uniting Adidas, our athletes and audience under Ready for Sport hype film, life slowly established a new norm. A new normal where a lot has changed and more change is still to come. But no one knew what laid ahead of us. We have officially entered the new age of cultural creativity. We have learned to appreciate the small things that we took for granted and start to reconsider our priorities for the future. The lockdown and the economic pressure not only fundamentally transformed consumers' world, but confronted us with new parameters to how we live our lives. The lines between performance and lifestyle have blurred. As we moved into complete lockdown, our teams were asked to rethink and pivot from a product campaign to find a way to bring all business units together under one brand narrative. For this to happen, we had to shift the thinking to a more entrepreneurial and scrappy mindset to overcome all restrictions. Access to funds, time to create, and people. We then decided to give the creative power and co-create the story with our athletes and consumers. As you can imagine, none of this would have been possible because we have a genuine, authentic, and empowering creative partnership with a lead creative agency, Iris Worldwide. So we pull the curtains behind the world of our athletes and consumers. For the first 15 days, our teams embarked on a listening and discovery journey to better understand what has changed in their needs and lives. Then, during the co-creative Zoom panels with consumers, we quickly learned that sports' role had changed for them, especially when asked what they were getting ready for. Consumers told us the following: we missed everything sport could give us: winning, losing, the community. More importantly, we realized that sport isn't just something you do. It is part of who we are. The insights above showed our team that sport could be the pulse of humanity, a platform that brings the world closer together through joy, optimism, and resilience. The insight became our starting point and the foundation of our communication platform. Then comes my favorite question. I love challenging the team when we land on a real sense. So, what are we going to do with this insight? How will we translate this into actions while delivering a compelling story? Well, the key is to keep things simple. We grounded the approach for the entire campaign on the follow creative direction below. Learning from the consumer's voice is what we do in every campaign, because at the end of the day, the consumer decides. The creative concept was called Hero the Human, Not the Hero. Our goal was not to solve the creative problem with scripts before talking to athletes. There's no script narrative, but instead, finding the meaningful personal insights, focusing on what our athletes missed about sport, the good, the bad, and what makes them greatest of all time. For every story, we had a 90-minute Zoom session with the greatest athletes in the world. An innovative way of creating deeply personal stories, and from these conversations, we crafted each episode's narrative. From Lionel Messi, called The Gift, to Patrick Mahomes playing for change, and our Adidas runners' incredible voices called Chasing Meaning. A message from Tyshawn Jones playing for change. The highest peak of the consumer journey came to an end with a 60-second anthem film. The story was narrated by Sia Kolisi, a South African rugby icon. Sia is the first black man to captain the South African team to the Rugby World Cup Championship in 2019. Adidas Ready for Sport final anthem film, as a communication platform, is a case study of agility, speed, and collaboration. A true testament of the power of the brand. When we come together as one team, through a co-created athlete-led story, this work's creative guiding principle was the hero, the human, not the hero. Ready for Sport, allow consumers to connect with the person behind the star. We created inspiring stories with a personal and emotional universal truth, regardless of the sport. For example, the creative insight from Xander Schauffele, PGA Tour golf champion, was built on the rush of competition. Who doesn't love a good rush? Ready for Sport brought consumers close to their heroes and making it contextually relevant. In each episode, one athlete shares their journey back into sport, contemplating what sport means to each athlete. The campaign celebrated joy, resilience, and optimism. The stories show how sport has served as humanity's heartbeat during the lockdown. Now I want to unpack new ways of gaining visibility. When reflecting on this campaign's impact, we can see that the insights below were the biggest drivers of success. Let's look a bit closer at how they can be performance indicator. Our episodic storytelling are extremely engaging. We had more than 503 million views as the brand's highest consumer interaction, with more than 61 million engagement across all brand channels. Power of Real Heroes. The first ever exclusive employee launch, elevating your people as the most authentic voice of the brand, with 1,678 employees posting the hype film, delivering 1.8 million organic views in the first 5 days of the campaign. Telling human stories, people will love you. More than 75% positive sentiment and mentions across social media channels. Consumers watch 92% of the Enton film on average view duration, which indicates 55 seconds out of the 60 seconds of completion. All roads leads to e-commerce, driving more than 8.8 million total traffic. We have seen a dramatically high accelerated revenue growth in Halo sales in 3 months of the campaign, with plus 38% higher average order value versus the brand average. We generated high quality traffic with more than 86% of all consumers who landed on .com clicked on at least 2 more buttons on the page, leading to a 7.2 conversion rate. If you love sports, follow the series, rediscover your favorite, and share your personal experience on how the sports role has changed for you during this pandemic year.